First of all, two-part question. How glad are you to be here, and how's it all come about? Give us the timeline of events.
Yeah, so first of all, delighted to be here, obviously. It's well documented. I'm a Gateshead lad. I was born up the road at the QE. Have a long history with the club as a player and then as a coach last season, so I know the club inside out. So I'm very comfortable in the environment and looking forward to obviously take charge in what is a very different role, a lot more responsibility, but really excited for the challenge. It's been incredibly tough in terms of leaving Mike, Ian and Belly, who are unbelievable human beings and have been so supportive, and you know, there's been lots of conversations around the decision, but honestly I can't speak highly enough of them as people, and it was really difficult to make that decision to branch off, but I felt like this was too big an opportunity to pass up for my development, and they agreed, and we left on a very amicable and mutual agreement, and we wished each other all the best.
I suppose that's the thing, that if anybody's going to know about the good parts of this football club, it's the management team that you've just stepped away from, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and I've got to say, you know, a huge thank you to them in terms of the building blocks that they put in at this football club. You know, the foundations that Mike and Ian lay were incredible, and you've seen the success that they had, which is why they moved into the Football League. And then it was taken on by Rob and Louis and myself, who then took on that responsibility, and they were unbelievable for the club. Put it in a superb position where it is now. So I've had the privilege of working with both sets of staff. So it's then for me about bringing all that good work together, maintaining the high standards and the style of play, but then obviously I'm a different person, so bringing my own personality to the group and seeing if we can improve it in any way possible.
What have you learned by being at MK and at Carlisle that you didn't already know when you were here?
It's a great question, Dicker. I think it's been a whirlwind. Obviously I left at the back end of last season. I moved down to MK in July, then moved to Carlisle in August. So I've been exposed to two different football clubs, a lot of different characters and personalities in terms of players, and I think what I found here as a coach last season as a player was just how special this group is in terms of the mentality of the players. And you know, we know that Gateshead hasn't got great resources, so you know, the mantra of the club is to find a way, and sort of, whilst we acknowledge that we haven't got all the riches, you know, we use that as a positive, and everybody digs in, and there's a real sort of us against the world mentality. What I think I learned was that at these clubs it was a lot more difficult in terms of having an impact with the personalities as much as I would like. You know, I pride myself on being able to get under the skin of players and into their mentalities and really get them pushing in the same direction. But the higher up the leagues, there's a lot more money involved, and there's a lot more egos there, and it tested us massively. But I was proud because at both clubs, even though there were short stints, you know, I had great relationships with the players, but I definitely found it more difficult than what I did here. So it's nice to be in an environment where you know, I've got those relationships ready-made, and it's just about maintaining the standards and making sure that the good work that's gone on before is carried on.
And have you learned off both Mike and Rob, because two marvellous lads, and you've worked with them both, and you know, you were all very, very close, weren't you?
Oh, I've learned an incredible amount from both from a tactical point of view as well. Both very smart people in terms of how they see the game. I think I learned more from a playing perspective when I first joined the club as a player, for the second spell, sorry, when Mike was here, tactically, than I did in my whole career previously. Just a different way of seeing the game, being more open and brave in build-up, and thoroughly enjoyed that style, and it opened my eyes to a different way of playing. Rob was really impressed with his tactical input and how he was able to build on the work that Mike had done when seemingly it looked like there was nothing to improve, but he did in his own way. So learning from both from a tactical point of view has been really valuable, but then ultimately just great human beings. You know, I think they're just good, honest people who were really enjoyable to work with, and their relationships with people ultimately is what give them success alongside how they see in the game. So just upholding them standards of being a good person, breeding a good culture and mentality into the group, and yeah, they were great people to watch how they worked, and then it's my responsibility now to bring all that together.
And you must be excited because they're an exciting team. You know, for me, I think they would have won the playoffs last year. Is the team good enough this year or better than they were last year? I would say they're probably a better team this year. So it's still exciting that they can be in the playoffs, if not go up, you know, automatically. I mean, they played Forest Green and they played Barnet. Nothing in the two games, you know, brilliant performances. So it's all there to go for, isn't it, Carl?
Yeah, well, thanks for reinforcing that pressure, Dicker, to get them up. But you're absolutely right. I've watched the games. You know, the way that they've played this season, I've watched them dominate games. I've seen the depth of the squad improve. So there is a lot more quality there in terms of the depth. So I've inherited a fantastic group. I know that. I'm extremely lucky in that regard. And I think the last few weeks has been unsettling for them, which is understandable. I think performances, they've slightly come away from some of the concepts and ideas that have been embedded in the club, but that's understandable. When you haven't got that natural leadership there and someone to look to, it's a really difficult situation for players to maintain those levels. So it's just about revisiting the good things, the things that are already in place here. And like I say, just motivating them and maintaining those high levels. And this squad is absolutely capable of doing that and having real success.
Carl, you've obviously played alongside some of these players, you've coached them, and sometimes going from that role to manager can be difficult, but do you feel you've been away long enough to sort of overcome that?
No, it is, and I've been a player where it's happened to me, where a player alongside us has took on a management role. Some players naturally just want to help that person and show respect, but other players find it difficult. So I'm fully aware of that. However, I made sure that when I was here as a coach, that whilst maintaining relationships is important, you don't want to come across as a best mate, you know, and that's not what I am in this circumstance. You know, I'm manager of the football club, different set of responsibilities. There's difficult conversations to be had, but from the off, and I'll explain this to the boys, honesty is just the best policy. And that's how I'll approach things. I accept, my eyes are wide open that there are difficult conversations, but as long as you're honest with players, then they'll respect that. So there will definitely be a line there where, and I did it last season when standards weren't met and it wasn't good enough, you have to make them aware of that and you have to keep pushing them and motivating them. So from that point of view, I think it's a social thing in how you can interact with human beings at the end of the day. Give them the bollocking that they need at times, but also showing them that love and support. So yeah, getting the balance right is really important.
A word on Liam, obviously someone you brought in alongside you that you've known since your Chelsea days. What was it about him that made you want to bring him in?
So Liam's local to the area, he has been since he signed for Sunderland. He's been here best part of a decade now, so he's settled his family. So from that point of view, it was perfect. But I always had massive respect for Liam as a player when we played together at Chelsea, and then he's had a fantastic career. He's played at the top level. He's been exposed to a lot of different managers and ways of playing, and towards the back end of his career, he was player coach for sort of 3 years. Worked very closely with players and management as he was coming to the end of his playing career. But I just like his aura. You know, he's very calm, but he can be firm. He specialises in out of possession and defensive organisation, which is really important. You know, everyone wants to talk about in possession and being nice on the eye and going and breaking teams down, but Liam's going to bring that sort of steel and that tactical edge without the ball as well. So I think he complements what I want to input really well. And then obviously there's still a vacancy open there for another coach to come in, which me and him will think long and hard about and make sure we get that right as well.
you've been through everything with this club as a player, as a coach, and well, now as a manager. But you mentioned that local link being from just down the road. You must be so proud, and I mean your family must be so proud as well, because I Gateshead fans as well, aren't they?
Yeah, me dad's a regular attender of the game, along with my sister and my nephews. So the Gateshead fans, I am myself. You know, always want to see the club doing well. Like you say, I've been here through some incredibly tough times. Back to my first spell as a player, where that season, Dicker, where we played the majority of games away from home, and the pitch was knackered, wasn't it? So I think playing Newport away, well, at home, at Boston, was probably the most bizarre situation I've ever been in. So, and then we obviously had the playoff final, which I played in. We've had the trophy success last season. You know, I've seen it all. So, yeah, being a local lad, having been through all that and experienced everything that the club is and what it's about, is really important, taking this job on first and foremost. But from an emotional point of view, it is, you know, it's very important for my family and all the decision making over the last week or so. You know, they've been really supportive and positive about me taking the job, and ultimately they've sort of encouraged me to take this job. So yeah, everybody in the family is really excited.
Well, that's good that they've done that, it is, because I mean, you were a good team together, weren't you? You know, and they've wished you all the best to come and get stuck in heaven, the really, yes.
Oh no, absolutely, aye. No, it's been emotional the last couple of days. My dad is a very tough little character, and it's not often he gets emotional, but he was he said he was very proud that I'd took the job and I'd made the leap into management, because it is a big decision, it's a big step, and yeah, the family have responded really well to it.
Just a couple more from me. I mean, you look at like it's 2 weeks today since it was confirmed Robin left the club, and Louis and Andy Sweeney. How, if you can say, how quickly was that approach made by Gateshead to come for you? It
was made fairly quickly. Yeah, it wasn't too long after. But you know, my situation over the last few months has just been so tumultuous, and there's been so much upheaval in terms of moving around the country. It wasn't a decision that I made instantly. But you know, the more I spoke about it, the opportunities, I had players within the club, you know, texting us, ringing us, urging us to take the job. So I've made decisions in the past as a player off my own back. I haven't listened to any exterior opinion, and I've made the wrong call. So this time I've taken my time over it, just to get in all the opinions I possibly can. I've rang so many people that I've encountered over my career and got advice, and the opinion was overwhelming that I should take the job. So alongside obviously wanting it myself, that was really important to take on that advice.
Just a final one, everyone's, you know, again, I don't know how much you can say on this, but obviously the promotion is the aim this season. Have you been given reassurances that if the club is in a position they can get promoted? Again, something that was a huge part of the decision making, and short and sweet, I wouldn't be sat here now if that wasn't possible.